My name is Kirsty Wood. I am the QSW talent partner for Connect to Dudley. We have been doing a series of podcasts with our much valued colleagues at Dudley and BC in the social work field to give you a bit of an insight on what it's like to work for Dudley as a social worker and why you should join us. So please could you introduce yourself and your position within Dudley and BC?
Okay, I'm Jeanette Manley. I'm a team manager and I'm currently a team manager in Family Safeguarding Team 1.
So how long have you been in social work and what attracted you to the field?
Field of social work? Oh, I've been in it probably 30 odd years. Initially, I got a friend who was a social worker and the job came up as a sort of social work assistant in Wolverhampton. And I did that initially as like a temporary contract, then got a permanent contract, and then decided to pay to get qualified. So I went to do my qualification. At the time I was doing the social work assistant role, you deal with adults, you deal with children, you register childminders, all sorts of stuff. But it was quite diverse, it was quite interesting. And I thought, I want to, this might make a really good career. So that was what sparked the interest.
So what is your experience within social work? Just a bit of a brief overview of your career so far.
I've worked here since I qualified in, I think it was 92. Seen loads and loads of changes. Because obviously, again, at that time, you dealt with everything when I first started. Then they changed into sort of short-term work, longer-term work. But we were still doing the duty. Then more recently, we've had the MASH, which is now called the front door. And we had assessment teams and safeguarding and support teams. And then, obviously, since July of this year, they've picked up the family safeguarding model, which splits it into adolescents and younger children. Came to Dudley, social worker, senior practitioner, then became a team manager.
Fantastic. So can you tell me a little bit about your role now and the structure of the team you work in?
Okay. My role now is very different because, like I've just said, it's been a long time since I've done beginning to end in terms of a child's journey, if you like, whatever that may be. Over the last, building up until July, there was a period where we got the opportunity to do the longer-term work with families, which was really useful moving into this model, because that's obviously what we're now doing. There's lots of new bits I can't pretend that I know, but we're all learning together, in terms of the workbook with families. But I'm really optimistic about it. I mean, we've got when fully staffed, I think we'll have 6 social workers per team. I've got an intensive family support worker at the minute. We've got DA workers attached, domestic abuse workers attached, substance misuse workers attached. There'll be mental health workers attached, access to a psychologist, probation worker attached. So, and I believe what it's going to allow social workers to do is to be much more hands-on. We've now got business support, which is one of the greatest resources you can have. So that takes off a lot of the pressure as well, and they'll be recording the supervision.
And how has your experience been working for Dudley and BC?
There's been lots of changes, as there is, I'm sure, everywhere else. But certainly, it's over the years, I've had a lot of support here. I've had some really good colleagues. I've had the opportunity to develop other people into management positions. I've had the opportunity to do training. I think since CPP came in as well, that's been even better and more structured. So it continues to move forward and strive to be better, really, which is good.
And how would you describe the culture at Dudley and BC? What's it like to work here?
Obviously, it's early days in this new model, and following the new model, everyone got shifted around, and I think a lot of people are scared about change, aren't they, or apprehensive about change. So obviously there's been some upheaval, but what they are trying to create, as is in line with the family safeguarding model, is a restorative culture. in terms of, now it's important if we're expected to do that with families, then it's important that that happens with the staff. So I think that's the drive going forward.
So as a social worker, and of course in your case a team manager, in what ways are you supported by the senior management at Dudley?
Rob Wright is there, the head of service, but he was our service manager and he was already accessible, always accessible in fairness, so if we needed to discuss anything. There's currently 2 interim service managers in place, both of whom, I mean, Brenda has only been here a short time, but, you know, she's always there, as is Lisa, who has been here a bit longer. So both of them have been extremely supportive and extremely hands-on. And they've given anyone who wants it in a team manager role, because obviously those jobs will be coming up as permanent jobs.
Yeah.
They've given the opportunity by creating aspiring service manager role and sort of bringing people in from different bits of the authority to ensure people are prepared for that if they want to take that step. But yeah, service managers have been really supportive.
And in your opinion, why should experienced social workers choose Dudley for their next career move?
I think that because it's exciting times with this new model, and if they looked at the new model in other authorities, they'd see how positive it is, how positive the outcomes are for the children and for the families. And obviously our desire is to try and keep children within their families safely. The difference obviously clearly is that you're working with a multidisciplinary team.
Yeah.
And that's exciting, and it also means they bring with them a raft of knowledge that we potentially don't have, you know. It's exciting times, and it's going to improve hopefully the lives of the children and families in Dudley that need our intervention.
And that's what matters most, isn't it?
Exactly.
Absolutely. So the next set of questions I'm going to ask you are just around Dudley in general. So not just the council, just about Dudley as an area, and why somebody should actually come to Dudley to work and live. So in your opinion, what would you say the best activity to do in Dudley is?
I quite like taking the grandkids to the zoo. That's quite good. We've got Merry Hill. There's a new leisure centre being built.
Yeah.
So lots of swinging, lots of sports activities.
What would you consider the best restaurant is to eat at in Dudley?
Okay, I like Ashik's, which is a good price. Does Indian food and has a lovely sort of setting, quite chilled. So I like that, and I like the 2 for a tenner at Castlegate.
Very good.
Yeah, so a bit eclectic.
So if you could describe Dudley in just one word, what would it be?
Interesting.
Fantastic. So that concludes our questions. Thank you for your time today, Jeanette, and also thank you for your continued support and contribution to the Dudley Borough.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to our podcast today, and thank you to our participants at Dudley and BC who have took the time to sit with us and tell us about their experiences. If you would like to hear about some of our fantastic opportunities that we've got available at Dudley and BC at the moment, my name is Kirsty Wood. Please get in contact on the details below, and we can go from there.